Hey everybody, welcome back to Dr. Cammy and Karen Go Keto, and we are transitioning to a ketogenic lifestyle, and we are on a roll. We haven't been doing a lot of videos because Cammy was here in Illinois visiting with me and helping me out and my mom out, and so we had a couple of videos about that. And then now Cammy is back in San Diego. She did a weigh-in this afternoon, and she's going to tell us what that is. So take it away, Cammy.
All right. Thanks everybody for being here with us and for supporting us in our transition here. And we are in the thick of it. And I went today to weigh in with Jeff Cotherman, who's my fitness and nutrition coach, absolutely wonderful guy who's over at Tri System. And I gained 4 pounds. And if you have watched any of the couple of previous videos, it was clear why, because I was binging on carbs and eating off plan. And I was out with Karen for 10 days and I did well for the first 7 days. It's just these last few days that I hit some really rocky, bumpy roads and made poor decisions. So I was not surprised that I gained weight. I thought that I was going to gain more weight. I thought I was going to gain, more like 7 or 8 pounds. So 4 pounds was okay with me. The thing that was interesting was that because I did gain weight, but I also gained some, my muscle mass went down. And so my percent body fat actually went down a little bit. It went from 34.3% to 33%. So not much of a drop, but, and it's interesting because even though the percent body fat went down, when we looked at the measurements around my waist and my hip and, your waist and your belly button and your hips, they were all up. And it was obvious they're up. I can tell by looking at my body, even though I still have a lot of weight to lose, I'm getting more in tune with my body and how it feels. And I can tell that the weight was sitting right there, which is no surprise, in a white postmenopausal woman, in most of us.
Well, and so the weight that you lost possibly was muscle, right? And you didn't gain any muscle. So sometimes we've said that when you gain, it possibly could be muscle because you're putting on muscle mass, but this time you've lost muscle mass and muscle weighs more than fat. And so by gaining some weight but losing some muscle, that's where that transition could be. Correct?
Right.
Yeah. So um what so we know that there were today is the 14th. You got home on the 12th and you kind of started eating poorly around the 11th or the 10th. You went up to Wisconsin
I
on the
started on
10th.
the 10th with the yogurt on the 10th, a little bit
But
on the 10th, more on the
but
11th, more on the 12th,
but
and
we were
did
eating,
well on the 13th.
and we were drinking Diet Coke though from probably around the 7th.
Yeah. And I'm sure that instigated a little bit of craving that just kind of continued.
A craving and probably some water gain too, I'm sure. I mean, that you feel that inflammation in your body when you feel bloated when you drink the Diet Coke if you haven't had it in a long time. At least I feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel so much better. I'm a little more revved up because I've been drinking a lot more iced tea in its place, but now the question is iced tea or water. Those are the two choices. No more Diet Coke. So
Yeah.
Cammy, when we see each other in August, no Diet Coke.
No Diet Coke. And I did well today after my weigh-in. I went and had Chipotle and so that was really good. I didn't have any rice, I didn't have any beans, and I missed the rice and beans, I'm not going to lie. But I did have some steak and I had some guacamole on it and I had some of the onions and peppers. So those were sweet enough for me.
And
And
and I think Chipotle is a good choice. I think their food, I think, is healthy food. Their guacamole is good, high fat, and it's tasty. And their meat is always really nicely seasoned,
it's
and
fresh.
doesn't really. How was your heartburn and stuff? Has that been bothering you?
No, not even with the binging. I've had no heartburn, which has been interesting.
And and you're not on any additional medicine, right? That's
No.
kicked in? Because weren't you complaining about that like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. I don't know why it's not there now with the binging I did over the last couple of days, but it's not there. So maybe I'm
Okay.
adjusting. Maybe I'm becoming more adjusted to this, keto and carnivore lifestyle. I'd like to
Yeah.
think so, but boy, it's brutal. It's brutal binging again. The recovery is just awful. The pain and the swelling. I woke up this morning and I couldn't bend my middle finger. I haven't had that problem in months, and the cravings continue. I've had to, stop at the stop, the cravings to continue it are there.
You should probably consider, and maybe even ask Jeff about this, maybe upping some exogenous ketones right now. There,
We
from
talked
what I
about that
remember.
today. He asked if I was on them. I said I'm on them twice a day, and he did say that that sometimes helps with the hunger.
Yeah, that's what I was reading recently. My mom usually has two bottles of keto water. Today she had three, and she was talking up a storm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, all right. So, what else do we want to say about your weigh-in?
Um, well, Jeff is very optimistic. He says we have a month. The other big concern I have is I have a cruise coming up in July where I'm going to be gone from the 13th to the 21st on a cruise where you have tons of food all day long and tons of alcohol all day long. And I don't drink, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. But because I struggled being out of my routine up here with Karen in Chicago, I am very fearful about being on this cruise. And so I'm going to have to really put some strong, um, tools and support in place on a regular basis there. And I'm even interested in trying to see if it might be possible for me to organize a few sugar addiction meetings while I'm on the ship.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, call the cruise line and see what they offer. Those cruise lines, they're big. They have a lot of people there. They do a lot of stuff.
That would be wonderful because then that would really help my accountability, as I'm thinking, Guy, I'm going to a meeting tomorrow. What am I going to tell him?
And my mom's speech therapist was on a cruise in Europe, and he was able to do her therapy from the cruise line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you might be able to take your computer and still do your meetings.
That would be wonderful.
I just know the last time I was on a cruise, which I don't know what decade it was or even what century, but at any rate, you couldn't do communications that easily. But I guess now they're with satellites out there everywhere in the middle of the ocean. You
Yeah,
might
and
be
I'm
able,
doing a coastline of Alaska, so it's not like I'm going to Hawaii or something. I'm right along the
yeah,
coast.
yeah,
So that would be wonderful. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look into that. And
yeah. Okay, everybody, we're going to end this one. Thanks for following and supporting us. We really appreciate it. And we will do one more to clean everything up and tell you where we're going. Bye.